I played around a little bit with the EL wire tonight. This holds two AA batteries, and you can't really see that it's even on right now. In bright light, the EL wire, it just doesn't look like anything. That's off, that's on solid, and that's flashing. This coil will sit behind an acrylic lid, and that acrylic lid just kind of catches the glow a little bit. So I'm going to settle on just a coil and put it in a black case so it blocks all the light from shining out backwards into the costume. And we'll turn the light off here so you can see what that looks like in the dark. Big difference. Inside the reflecting chamber, it just took on, it gets too busy, and I don't like that a whole lot, so it will simply be sitting behind that plastic lid, which just kind of brings the glow out to the edge a little bit. This will function as the power source for my projected face. It will sit directly behind the projection screen as if it is transmitting the signal out to be projected. And then the remainder of the EL coil, the wire will pass up to the brain chamber, and one wire will go into one side of the brain and another will come back out, as if the brain is sending the signal down through the wire to this. This is the right arm of BrainStorm. Here is the shoulder and the elbow. This handle goes back into the cape so I can move the arm around. And this is essentially the hand. The hand will have this blade attached to it. It's made of a hard plastic, the same stuff that 5-gallon buckets are made from. And I cut it out to look like a blade and sanded it down so it is really safe. Inside the hand, there is a 12-volt motor that spins at 300 RPM, and this strip of red LEDs. When I press this button on the handle, I can stop it. Doesn't hurt. I painted the saw blade with chrome aluminum spray paint. It is highly reflective. You can see the spiraling effect that I gave the plastic by connecting it to a drill and spinning it and pressing sandpaper against the surface. Catch a pretty good reflection off of the edge of the blades that I carved out of it. I finally have the laser connected to the left arm. Inside there is a red Cree LED, and it goes back up to the elbow. On the elbow I have the joystick, which is ultimately hooked up to the servos, which move my face around. But going up to the shoulder are two USB cables. and those will run into the body of the robot, transmitting various signals for the servos and the laser. I have that hooked up to my 12-volt battery, which changes it, converts it down to 3.7 volts with that little doohickey. And we will connect it. And the purple end has a pretty bright red glow. If I turn the lights off, it is absolutely red. But the copper catches the red light very nicely. And it is really bright. My friend Andrea, who happens to be a fantastic artist, came over today to help me get this done in time for MARcon next week. Made this brain for me. She used Model Magic. I had never used it before, but the description sounded perfect. What I like about it is that when it dries, it is very, very lightweight. So there's a core inside that I made out of this insulation foam. I cut out a shape that was more or less like a brain. And then she mixed the black, white, and gray, or the black-white clay, or Model Magic together to make the gray. And then after it was sculpted, she painted the surface with acrylic paint to get that coloring. And it will go on top of the costume inside this jar, and the jar is lined with the Fresnel lens, which magnifies everything. It makes the brain look even more distorted and big. Very fun.
More BrainStorm coming soon.